Hello, everybody, and welcome to Perspectives. I'm Sam Jones, your host for the day. It's good to have you with us. And we got kind of an interesting slate here. I read about this lady that you're about to meet in Tulsa People, I believe it was, and I said, we got to get her on. I've never met anybody who does what she does. Her name is Susan Ellis. She's the Good Manners Coach. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your show.
First of all,
Yes.
how does one get to be a good manners coach?
Oh, probably by accident. Well, okay, good question. I had a successful career back in Australia as an interior designer. And when I came here 2 years ago, I thought, fantastic, I could bring those design skills here to the United States. Well, I had no idea that you just spoke a completely different language to what I was used to, and that's feet and inches. I mean, what is that? Nobody does that anymore except America. So I just didn't understand, what to do. And then I thought, well, I grew up with good manners. It was part of our schooling growing up in high school. And I thought, well, this is something I could possibly do here after meeting a number of young people, particularly teenagers. And I felt that there was a real lack of something that I believed I could bring to the table as far as social survival skills. So that's what I teach. So when you say, good manners or etiquette, to me it's really about social survival skills and how you interact as a person, take that into your adult life and to be successful. So I started up Good Manners Consulting based on my experience from back in Australia. And also my parents were quite strict as far as manners went and being kind and showing respect to everybody, regardless of their race, their background, their financial status, whatever. And so I learned from a really young age that to be respectful to everyone.
You picked a fine place to start in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Because here in Tulsa, we're known for our Mercedes with a gun rack,
Right.
which is entirely different from anywhere else. And all across Oklahoma, it's a pickup with a gun rack, but not here, not in Tulsa. It's a Mercedes with a gun rack, and that's the way it's going to be. I think some kind of legal decree that came along that triggered that. You appear, if you don't mind my saying so, at an interesting juncture because all the rules are blurred. The lines are blurred from what they used to be. There was a time, I was young once, don't you say anything. There was a time once when I would open the door for a woman. Mm-hmm. I would step back at an elevator to allow a woman to go through. I would get up and give a woman my chair.
Oh, good.
That doesn't happen anymore because you're liable to offend people.
That's right.
How in the world do you teach good manners?
Oh gosh, look, that is such a great point, what you've just said. I think, and we discussed this before, is that I feel that people just don't know what to do anymore. Particularly men, young men don't know how to act around women. The idea of opening a door, just today when I was driving here, I needed to fill up my car with petrol, which you call fuel. You have to learn your language. And as I was walking towards the door, a man walked through into the petrol station. He opened the door, and then the door just shut behind him, and I was like, oh gosh. Whereas I thought, honestly, how simple is it just to walk to a door, turn around and say, oh, let me get that for you. I mean, people just don't use common sense anymore. If they're not taught this at home, how are they expected to know this out in the real world? And this is what I'm seeing. And it's interesting, people ask me, what's the difference between etiquette and good manners? Well, etiquette is, these are the social rules that we abide by in society. Manners is the way that you perform them. It's your behavior. The best example I can give you is you're familiar with a game called tag. So tag is, I believe, or what we call in Australia chasing. So you'll chase someone and you'll tag them. Well, the manners part, so that's the rules. That's the etiquette part, is the rules of how you play the game. The manners comes into it where you will tag them and just say tag. If you push them over, that's bad manners, and that also changes the game. I think that becomes rugby league or something. So it's a whole different game altogether. I just feel that people don't know what to do, how to communicate, how to create a first great impression. When we met, for example, you formed an impression of me as soon as you met me. I met another gentleman who's your other guest, Mike. We want to put out the best impression we can of ourselves. And that is being respectful to ourselves and also showing that respect to other people. And that's all manners and etiquette really is just showing kindness, being respectful, and just making other people feel comfortable.
You know, you're up against overwhelming odds. I mean, you do understand that.
I do.
And I use this term loosely. Social media is your biggest enemy.
It is indeed. Social media, in today's social media, look, social media is great. And I teach this in my workshops, that there's the good, the bad, and the ugly of social media. Unfortunately, I feel a lot of people are so heavily influenced by what they see on social media. They don't realize that everything is enhanced, or what's the term I'm trying to think of, where they doctor the images. It's called, I can't.
They're acting.
No, they're not acting. But what I'm trying to say
really.
is what you see on social media, it's not real. So you have people who will be scrolling through Instagram, or they'll be scrolling through Facebook, and they see this wonderful, perfect life that someone has posted online. And you think, oh, I want to be like that. So it gives you anxiety issues. People want their lives to be just like what they see. It's Photoshopped, that's what I was trying to say. It's not real. And not only that, this is another interesting thing. I had this discussion with a colleague of mine recently. One of the things I detest about social media is that so many people are influenced by what they see, and they believe this to be real and to be the be-all and end-all. Young kids, they follow this thing called TikTok, and they think that if they expose themselves and put themselves out there with all these dance moves and wear skimpy clothing, this is what people want to see. Young people today, dating, for example, it's so blurred. They don't understand what is the right way to date, because they look at things online and they'll see things where people fall in love and it's all so fast and it's wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And they think, well, that's what real life is really like. The way people talk.
It's not?
It's not. No.
Wait a minute.
It's not. It's not. But what people see on television, they're so influenced by it. What they see online, they're influenced by it. But that's not life. That's just not how it is. And it's upsetting, because this is what people follow, and this is what people think is real.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Can you give us some quick examples of good manners in today's culture?
Yes, okay. As I mentioned earlier, you're approaching a door. You may be walking into a building here at the university, or you may be downtown or somewhere. As you approach the building, always look behind you. You don't know, there might be someone behind you, and if there is, step aside, open the door, let me get that for you. It's just showing kindness to somebody. When you are going out to dinner, you pull out a chair for the woman that you're with. And even women, if they're going out to dinner with an elder, pull out the chair for the elderly person. It's a sign of respect. A big one for me, I just don't understand this. It's not such a big thing in Australia, but here, men wear caps indoors. You see them going into a church service wearing a cap. It's so rude. They go into a restaurant and they wear a cap on their head. I don't understand why they would do that. Not only that, the way people will hold their cutlery. They hold it as if they're stabbing something from the, you know, they're in the Stone Ages or something. But just general good manners is just being respectful. The way you speak to someone, the tone of voice, the way you present yourself. If you're going to someone's home, be respectful and dress accordingly. If you're going to a church service, be respectful, dress accordingly. Just addressing adults, calling them Mr. or Mrs., and give them the opportunity to say, oh, hey, just call me Sam. But always address an adult by their full name. These are just the little things that we can do. At home, being respectful, not keeping people waiting for a meal, for example, just in a family home. Dinner's ready? Yes. Coming to the table. Also,
And leave your cell phone in the hall.
oh, the big thing for me is the cell phone. For example, I was in a business meeting a couple of days ago. I have to be careful, so hopefully nobody will know which meeting it was. But there was 3 gentlemen. All of them had their phones on the table. One of the phones went off. It started ringing. It was so disrespectful. Turn your phones off when you're with people. Don't have a phone on or don't have it in sight when you go out to a restaurant. Put it away. There's just so many things that we can do and that we just take for granted.
You know, you bring to mind something, and I'm going to tell this story briefly,
yes,
because I'm not going to name names,
yes.
but I came into contact with a gentleman I have disliked for years. I don't know why.
Yes.
There are just some people you don't want to be around.
Absolutely.
Who changed my mind in 20 seconds because he focused on everything I had to say. He wanted to hear what I had to say, and he let me know it just in his mannerisms. And I thought, this guy's paying attention.
That's amazing. Paying attention and being intentional in a conversation. It is so important. We can wander off. However, if someone is giving you the time, their time, be respectful to them and give them your time as well. And
Susan, we're out of time.
oh, we are out of time.
I'm so sorry. Will you come back?
I'd love to come back.
Delightful
Absolutely.
personality, and I'd love to have you back with a list of do's and don'ts.
I would love to do that. I might even show your viewers how to use the cutlery American-style dining.
Oh, well, what you do is you cut your meat, then you stab it and eat with your knife.
You stab it and you wave your cutlery around and your food flicks to the next table.
Well, Susan, thank you so much.
Thank
Susan
you
Ellis,
so much. It was
the
such
good
a
manners
pleasure.
coach. We'll
Thank
remember
you.
that. We're going to have you back.